Sourire diabolique, charme flegmatique et rire caractéristique. Jack Nicholson est un mythe autant qu'un anti-héros.
He is the bad boy of Hollywood. He's everybody's image of tough, coolest guy on earth.
He lives the good life, and he knows how to relax.
I like fun. What can I say?
Hey, this is the guy who is, you know, the all-time iconic great film actor of all time.
Thank you.
How would he do all those good movies?
He makes it look so easy.
He's so surprising and dazzling in everything he does.
He's all about the craft when he walks in the room.
You know, he's a great talent. He's a wonderful actor.
He's just mighty watchable.
If you can find some work that you love, you pretty much have a life. It was wild.
John Joseph Nicholson naît le 22 avril 1937 à New York. Sa mère, June, est danseuse de music hall. L'identité de son père reste un mystère à ce jour.
A lot of actors have unusual family lives, but Jack Nicholson sort of takes the cake. It wasn't until he was 40 years old and he found out from a reporter from Time magazine, no less, that the people he thought were his parents were actually his grandparents and that his sister was actually his mother. Jack Nicholson had a pretty typical middle-class life growing up in New Jersey. He read comic books, he went to the Catholic Church, he played baseball, he was a lifeguard. About the only thing that would lead you to believe he had a bright future ahead of him was that he was named class clown in school. Jack wasn't the only boy from his neighborhood to become famous. When he was growing up, he was good friends with Danny DeVito because their relatives ran a hair salon together, which makes perfect sense because we all know Jack Nicholson and Danny DeVito are known for their hair.
Absolutely.
En 1955, à l'âge de 17 ans, Nicholson déménage à Los Angeles dans l'espoir de réaliser son rêve, devenir acteur.
I actually went there because, like a lot of people, I guess, who come here, I wanted to see movie stars and watch how they made movies.
One of Jack's first jobs when he came to Hollywood was working as a gopher at MGM Animation Studios.
For 2.5 years, you know. Me and Tom and Jerry and Bill Hanna and Joe Barbera. You know, I mean, I saw Marilyn and Bogey and Betty and Lauren and Kay and Fred and Ginger and Gene and everybody I ever wanted to see, you know. And there I was, right with them. What a life.
Au bout de 2 ans, on lui offre un poste dans l'animation. Mais il préfère se concentrer sur sa carrière d'acteur et tourner dans des films des studios Corman, malheureusement célèbres pour leur piètre qualité.
They say that one of the best ways to learn to do something is by doing it. Well, Jack got a lot of practical experience working with the B-movie director Roger Corman.
En 1958, il offre à Jack Nicholson son premier rôle dans un long métrage, The Crybaby Killer.
Corman put him in a lot of movies early on, like The Little Shop of Horrors, and Nicholson drew from that experience not only as an actor, but as a director for the rest of his career.
En 1960, Jack Nicholson rencontre l'actrice Sandra Knight. 2 ans plus tard, il l'épouse et quelques mois après, il donne naissance à une petite Jennifer. Les années 60 sont synonymes de vache maigre pour l'acteur. Il continue à travailler pour Roger Corman, tout en espérant enfin percer. À côté de ça, Nicholson se permet ses premières frasques. Conséquence, sa femme s'éloigne de lui, se tourne de plus en plus vers la religion, et en 1967, le couple divorce. Nicholson ne se remariera jamais. Les 2 années suivantes sont placées sous le signe des rencontres décisives. Nicholson croisera la route de cinéastes qui le feront sortir de l'ombre et accéder au rang de superstar d'Hollywood. Résigné à travailler derrière la caméra, Nicholson avait écrit The Trip pour Roger Corman, ce qui lui permet par la suite de coécrire Head avec le cinéaste Bob Rafelson.
Roger Corman didn't just believe in Nicholson as an actor, he also gave him opportunities to write. And one of those projects was a movie called The Trip, and the stars of that movie were Dennis Hopper and Peter Fonda. And they would later put Nicholson in their movie Easy Rider, and that was the movie that changed everything.
Easy Rider, film underground à petit budget, fait un tabac à Hollywood et vaut à Nicholson une nomination aux Oscars. La même année, il joue aux côtés de Barbara Streisand dans la comédie musicale Melinda. Puis son ami Bob Rafelson, coproducteur d'Easy Rider, lui offre un nouveau rôle de rebelle dans son film 5 pièces faciles.
Everyone remembers that classic restaurant scene in the movie Five Easy Pieces. Jack Nicholson's character orders toast, and the waitress says we don't serve toast this time of day, so he asks for a toasted tuna sandwich without the tuna. She says, what should I do with the tuna? And he says, shove it between your legs. Well, that's actually something that really happened to Jack Nicholson at a diner on the Sunset Strip. He told that story to the writer, it ended up in the script, and now it's a classic movie moment.
Ensuite, aux côtés d'Anne Margaret et de Candice Bergen, Jack Nicholson incarne un playboy misogyne dans Ce plaisir qu'on dit charnel, un film de Mike Nichols, tellement controversé qu'il est même au cœur d'un procès pour obscénité.
Immediately, when we first worked together and became friends, it became apparent that Jack was different from other guys. Someone really different.
Nicholson décline des rôles dans L'Arnaque et Le Parrain pour jouer à nouveau sous la direction de Bob Rafelson dans The King of Marvin Gardens. Malgré la mauvaise presse du film, notre oiseau de nuit continue à faire la noce à Hollywood. Il a une réputation de coureur invétéré, mais une femme fait chavirer son cœur.
Jack says that the love of his life was the actress Angelica Houston. They met in 1973 and dated all the way up until 1989.
You have drawn me back from purgatory.
En 1974, Nicholson partage l'affiche du film noir de Polanski, Chinatown, avec le grand John Huston, le père de sa compagne Angelica.
Jack Nicholson has a very Nicholson way of speaking. It's part of what we love about him, but in the beginning of his career, it kind of drove directors crazy. They needed him to pick up the pace. On Chinatown, for example, Roman Polanski took him aside and said, Jack, I've got a 100-page script here. If we want to get a movie that's not 10 hours long, you're going to have to talk a little faster.
Ce film, qui connaît un énorme succès critique et fait un carton au box-office, place Nicholson au rang des meilleurs acteurs de sa génération.
Well, peaks and valleys, you know, I'll put a real tanker out there next.
Nicholson s'attaque ensuite à des rôles à contre-emploi. C'est ainsi qu'on le voit dans une comédie musicale, un drame historique et un film d'horreur.
It was wild.
Pendant 11 ans, Nicholson a été cantonné à des films de série B à petit budget en tant qu'acteur, monteur, réalisateur ou scénariste, avant de se faire un nom grâce à ses rôles dans des films réalistes pour lesquels il n'a pas hésité à jouer la colère ou la vulnérabilité. En 1975, Michael Douglas lui propose le rôle principal dans un film de Milos Forman dont il est le producteur, Vol au-dessus d'un nid de coucou.
Jack Nicholson was my first choice from the beginning. I knew him socially, you know, before, and I knew that he loves the book and he was crazy about, you know, this period and this story. Jack Nicholson, I think he would, even without Michael Douglas pushing him, he would do the film because, you know, he was in love with the story, with the character, you know.
Jack won his first Oscar for the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and one of the things that made that movie so great was its authenticity. They actually shot in a real mental institution in Oregon, and Jack, when he first started, didn't know that the situation was as real as it was. During one of the first breaks, he took the producer, Michael Douglas, aside and complained that all of the other actors were staying in character all the time and it was making him uncomfortable. And Michael had to explain to him that they're not acting, those are actually criminally insane people.
Puis il retrouve Anne Margaret, sa partenaire de Ce plaisir qu'on dit charnel, dans Tommy, un opéra rock psychédélique. Quelques années plus tard, il tourne dans un film d'horreur pour le grand Stanley Kubrick.
Jack got to work with the legendary director Stanley Kubrick on the Stephen King adaptation, The Shining. And Kubrick is known for doing a million takes of every shot. But one of the film's most memorable moments was actually something Jack improvised. When he's chopping through the door at Shelley Duvall and he sticks his head through and he says, "Here's Johnny." Well, that was something Nicholson came up with on the spot.
Jack had a great story about Stanley Kubrick, because I asked him about it. I said, Jack, how did you like working with him? I hear, you know, he does he does, you know, so many takes. He says, Stanley, I hear you'd like to do a lot of takes. He says, my feeling is if we do 100 takes, the 101st one is the best. And what he was saying with that is, I'll be here as long as you want. And Jack felt it was kind of very freeing in a way for him because he says, I'll just keep doing what, you know, until he's not going to stop until he knows it's perfect. He says, that way it frees me up. I don't have to worry, you know. I know he's going to, you know, do it. So Jack is, you know, but Jack is great. I mean, he can do it in 1 take, he can do it in 20 takes. I mean, he's just a consummate professional.
Angles are what you usually do to give something like an evil appearance and things like that. You know, you do it much more angular and 45 degrees and stuff, and Jack has those 45-degree brows already, you know, and he's got that forehead, you know, with those incredible wrinkles in it. You know, he's got such an expressive face, and he knows how to use it and make scary faces.
Son ami Warren Beatty lui fait camper le célèbre dramaturge Eugene O'Neill dans son film Reds. Beatty reçoit un Oscar pour son film dans lequel joue aussi Diane Keaton, sa compagne du moment.
God, he's good looking. I hate him.
Jack had quite a reputation as a ladies' man, but he wasn't the only one. In fact, a few of his neighbors were pretty notorious as well. It was Warren Beatty and Marlon Brando, and they all lived on the same street, Mulholland Drive, and the press actually nicknamed it Bad Boy Drive.
C'est aux côtés de Shirley MacLaine, la sœur de Warren Beatty, que Jack joue ensuite dans Tendre Passion, un mélo larmoyant de James L. Brooks.
When Nicholson came on the set, there was this electricity. It was like someone had struck up some music that both of us heard the same way.
Sans cette complicité qui crève l'écran, Nicholson et Shirley MacLaine n'auraient pas raflé d'Oscar pour leur présentation dans ce film à l'eau de rose.
I'm lucky.
We don't really understand the chemistry. I certainly don't. Why this works so well. But it does, doesn't it? It's got this strange kind of humorous, dramatic, wistful dance quality to it.
Nicholson joue avec Angelica Houston dans L'honneur des Prizzi, une comédie sur la mafia réalisée par le père de sa compagne.
I looked forward to working with Jack for some time. I've a long time admired of his, and he's a fine artist, and he just excelled himself.
Kathleen Turner joue aussi dans ce film.
The thought of being able to work with John Huston and Jack Nicholson was, I mean, I didn't even want to read the script. I just really wanted to work with them.
Le film raconte l'histoire de 2 tueurs de la mafia qui tombent amoureux et se marient.
They're ever so attractive, despite their being contract murderers.
You know, I had the best feeling with Jack, really, that I've had with any actor, I think, because there was never any feeling, there was a great feeling of equality, I think, between, I've often sometimes been told to tone it down a little or to pull it back, you know, or you're a little too big or something. And I never had to do that with Jack, you know. I mean, the challenge was more to come up to his size.
Quelques années plus tard, après 16 ans de relations chaotiques avec Angelica Houston, les infidélités de l'acteur ont finalement raison de leur couple.
The relationship ended when Angelica found out that Jack was going to father a child with another woman, Rebecca Broussard. Jack said that Angelica's first reaction was to say, "You have to support this woman," and her second reaction was to come down to his job and beat him up. He said that Angelica really could punch.
We won't discuss that now.
Still, in spite of it all, he says that she really was the love of his life.
L'acteur reste avec Rebecca Broussard, qui est bien plus jeune que lui, et le couple a 2 enfants, Lauren et Ray. En 1989, Nicholson se glisse dans la peau du méchant Joker dans le Batman de Tim Burton.
On the first Batman, he was so great and supportive of me, and I had a great time. It's just such a pleasure to watch a brilliant actor working.
Tim Burton's Batman was a huge blockbuster, but what a lot of people remember about it is it was one of the first movies where an actor got a real big piece of the merchandising. Jack Nicholson reportedly made over $50 million from that movie.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
When the franchise of Batman was reimagined by Christopher Nolan and it was announced that Heath Ledger would be playing the Joker, Jack Nicholson was admittedly a little furious. He realized that he created that character and he was a little hurt that nobody had even approached him about it.
Nicholson tourne ensuite avec Tom Cruise dans Des Hommes d'honneur, un drame de Rob Reiner qui se déroule dans le milieu militaire.
Jack comes in prepared. When we're going to do a reading, the first day of rehearsal, he comes and gives it his all. It's not like he walks through it. It's not like, hey, I'm Jack Nicholson. I don't need to, you know, I don't need to read. He comes in there to work and to work hard. And so when he came in and started reading, and he's reading everybody, it sent a message to everybody else that we're here to work. Check your egos at the door. Let's hear, we got a great story, great script. We're here to work. And the way I liken it, it was like if you go, you know, you see baseball team, they're all around the batting cage before the game starts. And everybody's taking their licks. They go in and they take a few warm-up hits and so on. And then it's like if Babe Ruth stepped into the cage and all of a sudden he starts hitting balls and they're going into the upper deck, all of a sudden everybody stops and looks. That's what happened when Jack came there. It was like, hey, this is Babe Ruth. This is the Babe. This is the guy who is, you know, the all-time iconic great film actor of all time. And he's here and he's sending a message. We're here to work. Everybody, it just has a ripple effect. And from that first day, it was easy. Everybody was there to do their job and work hard.
Alors qu'il entame sa 5e décennie dans le métier, Jack Nicholson est toujours aussi demandé et joue dans une comédie romantique, dans un film indépendant ainsi que dans un film policier réalisé par un des maîtres du genre.
Jack Nicholson is, you know, if Brando is the greatest film actor of all time, you know, you'd have to make an argument Jack could be right there with him, you know. I mean, Jack looks up to Marlon Brando as the greatest actor of all time, but most people look up to Jack. Most young actors, they look up to Jack.
En 1996, Jack dit oui à Tim Burton pour jouer dans la délirante comédie Mars Attack avec son vieil ami Danny DeVito.
Take it, go on, it's a Rolex.
Et Glenn Close.
It was wonderful working with Nicholson because I'd never worked with him before. He was incredibly generous and wonderful on the set, and every time he arrived, they would sing they would play "Hail to the Chief" on the sound machine. He enjoyed it every single time he heard it.
He's so brilliant that way. He's got such instincts, and again, it's just a real pleasure to watch him work. You wish you could put in, you know, each take is different. You wish you could put them all in because it's so such a pleasure.
En 1997, James L. Brooke, le réalisateur de Tendre Passion, lui fait incarner un New-Yorkais antipathique et asocial, atteint de toc dans Pour le pire et pour le meilleur, aux côtés de Greg Kinnear et de Helen Hunt. Nicholson est nommé aux Oscars, entre autres face à Peter Fonda, son ami avec qui il partageait l'affiche d'Easy Rider.
Jack and I get along so super. Everyone says to me, what's it like to be up against your old friend? I said, I don't think we're against each other. I think we're with each other. And that's what it's all about. One of us will get the little call guy, and I'll be applauding whomever it is.
C'est Jack Nicholson qui repart avec la statuette.
I guess a lot of times you think you know if you're going to win or not, and I didn't really know tonight how it was going to go. There were, you know, my old pals in it and everything like that, so I really didn't know, and that's kind of nerve-wracking. If you have young children, you always wish they get to see you do something big, you know, so I know they were sitting home having a ball, you know, they don't know the difference between this and bowling, but they know Dad, you know, they know Dad won, and that was great for me.
Jack's obviously known as being a man who likes to have a good time, but there is another side to him. In fact, the director, James L. Brooks, who worked with him on Terms of Endearment and As Good as It Gets, actually called him the most philosophical guy he'd ever met.
En 2002, le comédien joue dans Monsieur Schmidt, un film indépendant décalé, aux côtés de l'actrice oscarisée Kathy Bates.
I really loved watching Jack when I wasn't in the scene with him. I love the fact that he made this man very physical. It was such an interesting choice because one would think that when you're going to portray a very repressed insurance salesman that he wouldn't move much at all. But there are moments in the film where Jack almost seems like Charlie Chaplin the way he moves.
Jack created another indelible character in the movie about Schmidt, playing a recently widowed retiree who's trying to find himself on his journey to saving his daughter. He actually won an award for it, the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Drama. And when he gave his speech, he seemed a little ambivalent. He said, "We all thought we were making a comedy."
What I like about this particular award is that it doesn't come from our peer groups. You know, Hollywood foreign press is kind of a very loose group of guys and gals, you know? I mean, it's like, you almost feel like you could go out and have fun with them. Probably because they don't have as much to lose as we do.
Oh, I bet it was groovy, man.
L'année suivante, avec le comique Adam Sandler et l'actrice oscarisée Marisa Tomei, Nicholson tourne dans la comédie Self-Control.
Well, the concept of Adam having an anger problem and then of Jack being his counselor and kind of helping him overcome that, just the concept itself was really funny.
Each day was, my jaw dropped again, you know, Jack and Adam. These two guys from completely different worlds coming together in this movie, and I think that's what makes it fascinating.
I do idolize the man. I watched all his movies, and then in the back of my head, I'm like, nah, how would he do all those good movies?
En 2003, l'acteur joue dans la comédie romantique Tout peut arriver avec Diane Keaton, qui était sa partenaire dans Reds.
We spent 3 weeks in bed, Jack and I, you know? 3 weeks in bed with Jack. That's what I was doing.
Ce rôle sied à merveille à l'acteur, puisqu'il incarne un vieux beau qui est attiré par des femmes bien plus jeunes. Mais dans le film, il tombe amoureux de la mère de sa petite amie, une femme de son âge.
It's a different kind of film for him. You know, he is the bad boy of Hollywood. He's everybody's image of the tough, coolest guy on earth. And in this picture, he falls in love and his heart gets broken.
Après ça, Jack Nicholson prend quelques années sabbatiques, mais Martin Scorsese le veut absolument dans Les Infiltrés, un film policier à suspense avec Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio et Mark Wahlberg. Puis Rob Reiner, qui avait réalisé Des Hommes d'honneur, lui offre un rôle aux côtés de Morgan Freeman dans Sans plus attendre.
They are thrown together in this hospital room when they both discover they have cancer and they ultimately find out that they are terminal.
To prepare for his part in the bucket list, Jack spent a lot of time visiting cancer wards and talking to real-life patients about what they're going through. And around that same time, he himself was hospitalized for a gland infection. And he said those experiences combined really helped him to shape the character and get him into the right headspace. Jack Nicholson, of course, is known for wearing his sunglasses. They're like his trademark, and they're actually prescription glasses, and when anyone asks him to take them off, he's not likely to do it. His big quote is, "With the glasses, I'm Jack Nicholson. Without them, I'm fat and 70.
En 2010, il joue dans une nouvelle comédie romantique de James L. Brooks, Comment savoir.
I mean, this is a movie gonna make everybody feel good. It's about love. It's about no matter how bad off you might feel at the moment. Right person walk into the room, got a shot.
Il incarne le père du personnage, campé par Paul Rudd.
I think it's the first time Jack has played the father of a mature guy. It was special, and I think they you know, it's what's supposed to happen. It's what people love to act for because they love to, you know, interact with somebody else.
What's been amazing is to see like just how good of an actor he is. Like his talent is not you could think that his persona might overshadow his talent. He makes it look so easy. I've never worked with anybody who works harder on a part, for sure. I mean, he does not phone anything in, and it's been really fascinating to do scenes with the guy and how he changes it and how he's always present and how every single moment he's so committed to. It's been unbelievable. It's been an amazing thing to see.
Malgré 50 ans de carrière, Jack Nicholson tourne toujours autant. C'est l'acteur le plus récompensé de l'histoire des Oscars, en rendant ses personnages inoubliables et en cultivant un mode de vie rebelle.
I'm sorry, but I got caught outside smoking. Thank you.
Il est devenu un des monstres sacrés d'Hollywood.
Jack is the most nominated actor in Academy Awards history with 12 total nominations, and he's won 3 times.
As my friend Jim Lampley said, the fact that you've had a life is an achievement, Jack.
He is all appetite. In every sense, you get the feeling that his ears are hungry and that his eyes are hungry and that everything, you know, he devours.
You know, he doesn't seem at all like the legend that people think of him as. He's a hard-working Joe.
What a life.